Hi, welcome to Adjusting Your Heart. I'm Doc AJ Chua, and today's episode is entitled Discover Your Passion and Purpose for Success. And today's just part one. My guests for this episode, namely Nick Vujicic, Wilkinson Gonzales, Jennifer A. Soon, and Noelito Aquino, all of them have found their passion and purpose in life. May their stories, as well as the tips I'll be sharing based on the concept of Ikigai, help each of you discover your own passion and purpose. Before I move on to the topic, I'd like to thank God for blessing us with 1,000 subscribers last September 12. And I'd also like to thank my husband Hans and friend David Wong for all their hard work behind the scenes. And of course, I'd like to thank all of you, my friends and viewers, for your unwavering support. We will continue to work hard to come up with videos that will inspire and empower all of you. And actually, today's topic is a request of one of our viewers, Mrs. Kim. Mrs. Kim, this is for you. I'd like to start sharing by sharing what Nick shared in his book, Life Without Limits. Actually, as you can see from the picture, Nick was born with a very rare syndrome in which he had no arms and no legs. And yet, he became a world-renowned speaker, a New York best-selling author, coach, and entrepreneur. His passion is to inspire and equip the world to know that we can all rise above adversity and overcome every disability of the heart and mind. And now, he's happily married to Kane, and they have 4 cute little kids. But he didn't start out that way. As a child, he shared that he struggled mentally, emotionally, physically. He was bullied. He worried about his future, like, how can he go to college? Who's gonna like him? Who's gonna marry him? How can he survive in this world? Who's gonna hire him? So because of all of these worries, at the age of 10, he attempted suicide. He tried to drown himself by facing down inside the bathtub, but you know what saved him? It's the love of his parents. That's what he remembered. If he died, then his parents would be very, very sad. So he immediately flipped back, and from then on, it's a good thing that he also came to know Jesus Christ and he found his purpose in life. And speaking of suicide, did you know that September is the National Suicide Prevention Month in US? And for the whole world, September 10 is what we call World Suicide Prevention Day. So that's why last September 10, I was invited by DZAS 702, by the radio program is called Doctors Online. And we talk about how to overcome self-harm, suicide, so you can check that out. So my friends, in case that you're feeling so down, you have suicidal ideation, please call a friend. Call the NCMH hotline that we're gonna flash. It's 0917-899-8727. And you can also check out our previous video on coping with depression. And like I said, because of Jesus Christ, Nick found his purpose in life. And as you can see from the different pics I'll be showing you, he eventually learned how to skydive, he played golf, he could surf. All of this I cannot do, even though I have arms and feet. And not only that, at the age of 17, he started his own non-profit organization called Life Without Limbs. And at the age of 19, he started his career as a motivational speaker but he did not succeed at first. You know what? For his first speaking engagement, he called up 53 schools. Because, of course, when he started calling, people don't even recognize him. People don't know him. So nobody wants to invite him as a speaker, even though he already invited himself, but they won't. But he did not give up. That's why on the 53rd call, when he was invited to that school, and that started the ball rolling. So my friends, that's what you always would say, when you fail, you just keep improving yourself, just keep moving on. And then you know what? From that time on until now, he has shared his story to 750 million people worldwide in 69 countries. And you know what is his dream? It's that he will be able to share his story to 1 billion people by the time in 2028. And I went to see him preach in person. We went to Araneta Coliseum, and as you can see from the picture, it was jam-packed. I was there with Reverend Tony and Nancy Cheng and Pastor Nancy Cheng. And we were really inspired. And he was also able to inspire a lot of people with disability. Just like this picture that you can see. That girl was also born without arms and legs. And I'm sure because of Nick's life, she now has hope that if he can succeed in life, she can also succeed. And he would also go to a lot of places and to donate, to inspire. So I hope we could also be like him. And he said that since sharing God's love and inspiring others are his passion, he will continue to do it, even though he's not going to get paid for it. And that is passion. So actually, what he was saying about passion, this is also the concept of Ikigai. Ikigai, according to Lucy Dayman of Savvy Tokyo, it is finding joy in life through purpose. It's what gets you up in the morning and keeps you going. And you know what? If you found your purpose and your passion in life, that would truly prevent depression, suicide, because you're always excited to do something for that day. So I hope that you will discover your passion and purpose. So based on the 4 quadrants there, or the 4 circles, I'm just going to divide it into 2. So my first point would be, know what you love and what you're good at. God created all of us differently. We have different personalities, different talents. So maybe you said, oh, I don't know myself that well. My friends, there are a lot of online personality tests, or you can take the standardized test. But of course, if it's standardized, you have to pay for it. It's much more expensive. But the free test would give you already a gauge, okay, of who you are. You can check out MBTI, Litter's personality test. I've also read that book by Florence Litter. She wrote a book called Personality Plus. And at a young age, I was able to discover, oh, I'm a sanguine, I'm an extrovert. And my strengths would be, I love talking to people, okay? I like being in crowds. So I eventually found out that, oh, I'm not good at desk jobs. Let's say if you want me to always stare at the computer, type something with no one to talk to, I think I'm gonna go crazy. So I have to look for a job that fits my personality, okay? That's why it's important to know what your personality is. And do not think that, oh, there's a better personality. Actually, it's not a better. There's no right or wrong personality, whether you're an extrovert or introvert. It's just that in this world, of course, if you're an extrovert, people notice you immediately because you're a talker, you're a leader, okay? There are 2 kinds of extroverts, so you can check that out. They're the cholerics and sanguine, but there are also 2 kinds of introverts, the phlegmatics and melancholic. And all personalities comes with strengths and weaknesses. And of course, once you know your weakness, then you work on it, improve on it, okay? And you also have to know not only what you love doing, like for me, I love being with people. I love teaching. I like counseling. These are the things I love. And these are also the things that I'm good at. So how would you know that you're good at something? Of course, if you're a student, your grades would reflect it. And once you start working, then your KPI would reflect it, okay? Your key performance indicators. And not only that, you would get sincere compliments. People would say, oh, you're good at that. You have a very nice voice. Then you know you're good at these things. So now please pause this video. I want you to get a paper and pen or your iPad or your cell phone. Then I want you to write down the things that you love to do and the things that you think you're good at. Okay? My second point is know what the world needs and what you can be paid for. Our society has a lot of needs. So you think of one in which you can help out and at the same time be paid for doing so. For instance, on my case, a lot of people have problems, whatever kind of problems, and they need someone to listen, somebody to coach them, somebody to guide them. So that's where I come in, and I get paid for it, and I love doing what I do. Or maybe your heart is to protect the environment. Then maybe you go into the business of recycling things. You could, I have friends that I see that they're selling things that are solar powered. Or right now, because you know of the boom of online selling, that's a need right now. And you're very good with computers. Okay, so you could come up with a computer system that would make things more efficient, effective, the deliveries, whatever. So you could think along that line. Or maybe you said, oh, it's services, like logistics. Maybe come up with a delivery business, or oh, you can serve as a delivery personnel, whatever it is. And then what if you said, oh, but the one I want is not something I can get paid for? Then what you do is you get a good job that would give you that kind of finances, and then you, on the side, you do it as a hobby. You do some things that you love to do. So it still can work. So I want you to again pause the video, and based on the things that you love to do and that you're good at, I want you to think, what are the things that this world needs? And what can you do to contribute and yet get paid for it? Okay, so think about that. My next guest is a millennial. His name is Wilkinson Gonzales. He's now a third-year student at the University of Michigan and is taking his PhD in linguistics. And actually, he's the eldest son of my mentor, Reverend Wilson Gonzales and Pastor Marisa Gonzales. They're both now with CCF. He said that as a kid, he loved languages and he would invent his own alphabet and teach it to his younger brother, Morrison. And that reminded me of how I pretended to be a teacher and would teach my younger brothers, Jerry and Jackson. So I think all the teachers are like that. When we were young, we already wanted to teach somebody. And he said that because he wanted to become a teacher, he took a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English at De La Salle University. And you know what? He graduated summa cum laude. So as he said, as he took more English subjects, he said he was drawn to his childhood passion, which is linguistics. And he said that he noticed that contact-induced mixed varieties, they lack scholarly attention. What do you mean by that? Let's say what we call the Hokkien or the Amoy language that we use, the Filipino Chinese use. Actually, he now calls it Lannang. Why? It's a Philippine hybrid Hokkien. Like, I usually speak in what we call Chai Taglish. In one sentence, there are English words, Tagalog words, and so Chinese, Tagalog, English. So Chai Taglish, or what we call halo-halo. So after his stint at De La Salle, he took his master's degree, in English language and linguistics at the National University of Singapore, and he got a perfect GPA. So now he said he wanted to pursue a doctorate degree because, of course, he wants to become a professor in a certain university. And he wants to use his degree as a platform to share awareness of what he loves most, like social linguistics. And at a very young age, he founded an organization called the Lannang Archives. And it just started this June 3, 2020. And their mission is to conserve the Lannang heritage across the Philippines and to empower Lannang heritage communities and greater Philippine society. Actually, it started as a research initiative last 2017. He wanted to create a data bank of Lannang Way speech. And he was able to find a group of people who also wants to do that. So actually, Wilkinson, maybe you don't know, one of your members named Serena Alonso, she also messaged me. She was so passionate about this, and she wants me to do a feature on the Lannang Archives. And I said that when the right time comes, I will. And this is the right time. So you have to thank Serena for this. And you know what? Wilkinson said that, yeah, right now the Lannang Archives has started. It took years of planning. There were times of disappointments, failures, and yet he said that there are also times of triumphs and joys. And he wants to encourage all of you to reach for your dreams. If you work hard, trust God, and never give up, you will be able to realize them. So please support them by liking and subscribing to their YouTube channel, the Lannang Archives. My next guest is Jennifer Ang Soon. Her passions are teaching and writing. And you'll be surprised that she graduated with a degree in industrial engineering. Ang layo, di ba? She said she discovered her love for teaching while she was still in college. When exam period is about to come, people would borrow her notes and ask her to teach the more difficult concepts. And at first she would teach one or two of her classmates, but eventually she'll be teaching in front of the class. And upon graduation, she worked at Unilever for 3 years. Ever since she was young, her parents has inculcated in her that education is a treasure that no one can snatch. And her mom, who was also a teacher at St. Stephen's High School and Philippines Sun Yat-sen High School, that inspired her to become a teacher. So you know what? She left her lucrative job to pursue her dream to be a teacher, even though she knew that there will be a pay cut. Okay, it's not that the school is not paying her well, but we know that any school could not afford the salary of a multinational company. So that's why I salute all the teachers in the Philippines. So sa lahat po ng guro na nakikinig, I really salute all of you. And September actually is National Teachers Month, in case you don't know. From September 5 to October 5, that is National Teachers Month in the Philippines. But for the Filipino-Chinese school, we celebrate it on September 28 because that's the birthday of Confucius. So what happened was Jennifer joined MGC New Life Christian Academy as a teacher for 7 years. She only left when she got married to Charlie. And right now she's teaching languages and tutoring one-on-one online. She also mentors teachers and she does consultations for homeschooling parents. And one of our other passion is writing. She said she started writing in high school just as an outlet of her feelings, observations, reflections. But after college, she started to dream of writing her own book. So God opened a way for her to join a workshop conducted by the CSM Publishing last 2017. And that led her to be a contributing writer for Take Heart, Letters of Faith, Hope, and Love. And in 2018, you know what? She was so down and she even had anxiety attacks. And one thing that helped her was journaling. So once she's much better, she passed her journals and it was published in Scripture Union's Light to My Path devotional. Some of her works were also published in Unlocked, a devotional magazine for teens based in the US. So you can check out her blog site called When a Teacher Writes.wordpress.com or her FB page, Jennifer A. Sun. She also mentors and teaches others to become writers. And she's the co-host of Wilkinson for the Lannang Archives YouTube channel. And together, they hope to teach Lannang Way, or the Chinese language, to the younger generation. Actually, that's also one of my desires. That's why if you notice, all of my videos have an Amoy version. Because for me, it's a waste if you're a Filipino Chinese and you can't speak the Amoy language or even Mandarin or even Tagalog, sayang. But if you could speak everything, like you could speak Mandarin, Amoy, Tagalog, English, that's already 4. And what more if you could speak another dialect, Cebuano or something else? So I hope you would treasure our heritage. But if you're a Filipino, then you treasure the Filipino heritage. You have to be very well versed in Tagalog. Makata ka dapat magsalita. Okay, so whatever your nationality is, I hope you will embrace and love it. And Jennifer prays that every word that comes from her mouth and whatever she does will glorify God. And my last guest is engineer Noelito Aquino. He's an engineer, but the passion that I'm going to share is his passion as a saxophone player. Way back in high school, he joined a marching band. He was the solo tenor saxophone player. And at the time, there were not enough music sheets, so they would just borrow from other bands. So he said that he had a dream one day to gather all his favorite songs and write music sheets, okay, for people who would play sax, and then share it to the rest of the world. But that was halted when he went to college. The band he was supposed to get in was abolished. And 15 years later, his sister gave him a student model saxophone to be used for his prenup pictorial. And after the wedding, he was invited to attend a gig. Of course, he had to play his sax. But he had a difficult time because he already stopped for so many years. So that's the time that he said, oh, I need to put the notes, okay, into writing. But he was very busy, so he used music applications instead. But even with that, he was able to transcribe thousands of music sheets. And he was inspired by a Russian transcriber who made a video of the notes which you can follow while playing your saxophone. And from then on, he shared backtracks, music sheets to amateurs, professionals, and hobbyists here and abroad. When the pandemic happened, he uploaded a video of their collaboration in YouTube, and it became a hit. He uploaded a few more, and more requests came in. He was monetized in just 1 month. Imagine that, in just 1 month, he was monetized. And he now has more than 3,000 subscribers and more than 530,000 views. That's more than 500,000. And take note, that's from all over the world. And aside from that, he was now appointed as an admin for a various well-known flute, saxophone, and music sheets groups in FB. He said that his daily mantra is keep the music playing, and that kept his passion growing. He was one person that I really admire because he rose above his adversity. He remembered that during the time of Ondoy, the apartment that they were renting together with his mom and sister, it was flooded. And he said that he remembered, he only had a cup of rice, 4 pieces of fishball, and some sauce. That's the only thing they can afford. So it was a very, very difficult time. And he said that one day, I want to own my own house. So he worked very hard. It took him 7 years to finish his college because he had to work. But he and his sister were able to finish their college. So for those with financial problems right now, hang on. You can be successful. Just keep going and holding on to God. And he said that together with his girlfriend at the time, Jen, they tried out one business after another. There were a lot of failures, but they just kept trying and trying until one day they're now with a natural health and wellness industry, and they're very successful. Their business has grown to more than 5,000 household members here and abroad. And you know what? Their dream of having their own house has been realized. So you can see from this picture, which he also posted in Facebook. And you can see from the other picture is the picture of his wife, Jen, and his daughter, Sky. And he wants to encourage all of you that to be patient, prayerful, and just to work hard for the fulfillment of your dreams. So you can check out his YouTube channel. And I hope that all of you may find your passion and purpose with God's help. And I'd like to thank the following. I cannot thank everybody, so I'm going to choose several every episode. Abilim, Angela Lua, Tra Ming Hui, Colin Law, Christina D. Limhea, Dolly Wong, Elizabeth Chow, Entreprenegosyo for Nation Building Business Community, Esther Gao, Francisco Ong, Heidi Chu, Hannah Tan Yu, Jocelyn C. Ko, Kim Le So Lim, Lilibet Lim, Sydney Chan, Tiffany JT, William Jonathan Ong, Wilson Gonzales, and Zeus Tan Pascual. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.